Yes, time. I didn't know where to start in terms of time, but I know time is mega, it's big, vast. I can't even describe, but what I know is that there's nothing that we can do that does not involve time. Anything that we do involves time. So time is it's a mega thing in our life. It makes the world go. You know, it keeps the world going around. And then to business people, time is money, isn't it? So precious that they want you to account for every minute of it. They want to make sure it's properly managed. It is a commodity that it needs wise and to be managed really wisely, because you can't just wish-wash and say, well, things will go. So it informs our well-being, it forms our business, our every living. It's centered around the time. So we should use the time properly. Yes, Ecclesiastes. My young man read there in chapter 3, and he read from verse 1. We would like to just look at the subject of time, what Ecclesiastes says about time, and then look at it, and then we will move from there and see where we go with that. Amen. He says, Ecclesiastes describes the time application to our various life experiences. He says in verse 1, to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Amen. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck what is planted, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, a time to gain, a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time to throw away, a time to tear, and a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak, a time to love, and a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. Time is vast and permeates into our lives. So everything that happens has a time. The subject of time is so vast that it needs thoughtful management. One person looked at it and said, but what is this which is time? But we have been given it, we have it all the same time in that we have, but we have different events. Time that we have is the same, isn't it? It's the same. But we have different events with that time. Some people achieve even more within the same time that we have. And at times I wonder, how do people achieve so? You know, people have done so much, and you try and talk to them, and you wonder how they've done it. So some people will achieve more, some people will prosper, some people you talk to them and they will tell you there is no time. But it is the same time that we have. But how come other people find time and other people don't find time? What is it about this time that cannot be the same for everybody? It is the same time that you and I have. It is the same second, 60 seconds that make a minute. It is the same 60 minutes that make an hour. It is the same 24 hours that make a day. It is the same 30, 31 days that make a month. It is the same 12 months that make a year. No one has an extra hour. It is 24 hours. If you see anybody who has 25, come and tell me. They achieve the same thing as that should be achieved, like everybody else. But where do they get this time? Where do they get this time? So I then realized that time management is a very big issue. It is a big subject in our lives that needs to be carefully considered. Even universities have now offered courses around time management. I'm sure my sister that you will testify, there are some people at uni that are doing a course in time management. Yeah. Because without that, the world will be chaotic. So this is why the professors have to come together to plan a course program around time management. Because if time is not managed, well, there will be chaos. It makes the world tick. It is what makes us exist. Time is so important in our lives. And statistics say we use time in different ways. And some people, they will do, like I already said, they will do big things within the same time. Some people will do whatever they will do. But statistics is giving me something here. It says at times we do what we call winding up time. Without actually realizing we are winding up time. So statistics says here, 8 months of our lifetime, is spent on us reading junk mail. You lose 8 months of your life, consciously or unconsciously, reading junk literature and junk mail. Amen. You lose 1 year of your life, of our lives, searching for lost objects. We are always looking for something. I don't know how we lose them, those things, but we are trying to find those things. And it takes away 1 year of our lives. Statistics says also it takes 2 years of our lifespan on phone calls. You are returning calls, you are making calls. You are returning calls, you are making calls. You have missed calls, you're calling back. 2 years of your lifespan is taken away. And statistics says there is 21 years of our lives that is taken from us by watching television. Oh, yeah. 21 years. Yes. We are gurus in TV. This is why in this gadget, we don't realize it. Every home has it. And the first thing somebody comes from work, they take off their coat, the next one, and they on the remote control. They want to catch up with what has been happening, isn't it? And as you look at, if at all at work you were allowed TV, you will carry it with you. But because you miss it so much, the first thing that you do is cut off and then remote control. Remote control. And at times there's fighting over the remote control. Someone wants to watch that, someone wants to watch that. The TV is what matters. So we lose 21 years of our, consciously or unconsciously, we are losing time. Amen. We are losing time. But how do we value our time? I am talking to us here. Yes. How do we value our time? How do we value a second? Does a second matter to you? A minute, does it matter? An hour, does it matter? A week, does it matter? A month, a year, a season? week does, maybe you can take a bit of time and reflect on what you have done in the last second, last minute, last hour, last week. We have all gone through a week. How productive has your week been? Can you just stand up here in our sharing and then say, yes, my week has been very productive, this is what I have done? How do you assess productivity of your week? Is productivity of your week assessed by what you have amassed to yourself? Or the productivity of the week is assessed by what you've done to others? Or the productivity of your week is assessed by how much study you have done? How do you value your time? How do you value your minute? How do you value your second? How do you value your year? And how do you value those things? Because no one will come and place a value on time for you. You are the person that needs to place value on time. Those things that we treasure, we keep them very sacredly and special. Time should be such one thing that just you are in charge of the time. So time can be plenty and time can be little, depending on how you use that time. And where I am going with this is, let us not waste time. For me, the statistic, it describes a time that has been wasted. One writer says, kill time and you murder an opportunity. Lost time is never found. Time can be wasted, but it can never be recycled. To waste time is to squander a gift from God. Let us think of how we place value, how we value our time. Because time that has been lost will never be regained. Ephesians chapter 5. Verses 5 to 21. This is where we will be for this morning. We will zero into Ephesians chapter 5, verses 5 to 21. So I invite you to just open that so that you follow as we go down those verses. The verses describe prudent ways of managing our time. The verses, they admonish us to be purposeful and to be good stewards of our time. The whole chapter actually of Ephesians 5 is a very educative chapter. This is where you see it talks about wives, submit to your husband. And it talks about husband loving your wife. It is the same chapter. Amen. Very, very productive. If you follow that chapter and read it, you will never go wrong. We will start from verse 15 for our purposes, like I said, and we will use up to verse 21. I just want us to zero into that. Yeah. Verse 15, it says there, seeing, and then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. We should purpose in our everyday walk, knowing that time, when it's lost, it will never be found. So in our everyday walk, in the things that we do every day, that should be always in our mind. That the time that we have had, once it's gone, it's gone. Once it's gone, it never be retrieved. Once it's gone, it's gone. So as we do our everyday business, we need to have that in our subconscious to say, yes, what I am doing now, I may not have another time to do this anymore. So this is why you need to do what you need to do with the time that you have made.
Amen.
So this is why in verse 15 says, we need to carry ourselves having that thought of time and the time in our hands that it is precious. And this is why the verse says we need to walk circumspect. Not like as fools, but as the wise. We should purpose in our everyday walk knowing that the time is precious. And this is why you see people, when the time has been lost, they spend a lot of time lamenting on things that they could have done. And there is this which is called midlife crisis. And I think it is affecting me. Because I talk to my wife at times, you know, I see when we first came here, I should have done this. And then she says, you didn't do all those things. Why are you talking about those things? These things. But I keep saying, I could have. So the concept of that time cannot be retrieved. It's no longer, it has not sunk. Yeah. But the verses 15, it needs to say, I should not behave like a fool, but I need to behave like a wise man. That time is gone. Maybe let's look at what's coming. If the Lord blesses us with more time, do the best of what is coming. Amen. Don't continue to lament on what He has been. See, when water spills, you cannot get it back.
No.
You can't throw it back. In as much as the words that we say to one another, when we say those words in anger, and then you realize, I shouldn't have said that, you can't have it back. So this is why you need to think about the time that you have, the words that you say, the things that you do with the time that you have. They need to be well-informed things. You don't want to live a life of regret.
No.
Yes, we should always remember that time is a precious factor. We are admonished to be wise in the way we manage our time. Life is not just about looking after ourselves. But by this, I'm not saying we should not look after ourselves. But I'm saying we should prioritize in terms of how we use our time. Knowing that this time, we are stewards, isn't it? When you are a steward, you are keeping, you are managing that which belongs to someone. But God has entrusted us with with that time, knowing that there is great things that we can do for Him. So if you then change and selfishly use that time and make it about yourself, you are not doing what the Lord is expecting of you. He who thinks that life is about protecting themselves, the Bible says they will lose it. Isn't it? But it is only those that realize that the life that they lead is from God, and they will glorify, and they will have eternal life. You need to wise up. Not just you, I need also to wise up. I told you I'm caught up with it in it as well. So we need to wise up together. We need to be smart in the way we use our time. Having that conscious purpose to use time. Verse 16 says, redeeming the time. That is knowing that the time that we are living in is precious, and that it needs to be used very in a special way. It's not time to waste. It's not time for remote. It's not time to wind up. It is time that it needs to be used in the way the Lord Himself wants it to be. We are probably, that is the reason why we waste time. Maybe it's really the realization that it has not sunk in that we are living in the last days. Amen. Because if we are living, it has sunk in us that we are living in the last days, we will live in a way that is more alert than what we do. And probably we will use even our time in a more a special way, knowing that that time will never be again. There is nothing that is outstanding in Matthew chapter 24 in terms of events that have not happened. If there is nothing, then it really emphasizes that we are indeed living in the last days. Therefore, let us make the most of every opportunity that we have to praise the Lord. Amen. Verse 16 tells us that the days that we are living in are, yes, we're living in evil days. It is not a time where we need to relax. We are living in evil days. You don't need to go any further or any that far to see what we're talking about. There is evidence of this every day. Our neighborhood is evil. We don't trust each other. This is why we invest in big locks and make sure that our property is secure. Isn't it? And then some people will buy very big dogs, and then they write at their gates, beware of the dog. The reason is they're trying to secure. Because we don't trust each other. It's not secure. It's not, if you leave anything without making sure it's secured, it is at your own peril. The days that we're living in are evil. People are killed day in and day out for no apparent reason. You know, in the past, people used to kill people, to rob people, and then maybe in the process kill them. But today you are killed for no apparent reason. Children and women are targeted indiscriminately. It's happening. Shooting and stabbing is the order of the day. Knife crime in this country is giving them the government a headache. Because it's something that cannot be managed. The days that we are living in are evil. It's not time to relax, but it's time to draw even closer to God. The days that we live in are evil. There is need for us to wise up in the use of our time. The gospel needs to be shared to the whole world. But who is going to do that when we are busy spending 21 years of our life on the remote control? The Lord is counting on you. This is why He invested that time in you and I. The Lord gave us that time so that we can do something productive for Him. But we are playing it down because this time we think it's something that will be there forever and ever. It is only the wise that will realize that the time is no more. Verse, it says there, the Lord is counting on us to do something. So if the Lord is counting on you, He's counting on me, and you are letting Him down, are you calling yourself a good steward? Where the Lord has invested so much of the time and say, hey, my brother Lloyd, here is 365 days for you to manage. And you are saying, no, not for me. You can't be described or meet a definition of a good steward. Maybe we might call you something else, because you are not even near to the definition of stewardship. Remember, at times, we don't need to speak or say anything. It is the way we use our time that people get read into us. We don't need to be proclaiming every minute. It is how you use your time. Even at work, you are sat next to somebody, they can see how you use your time. Because for you will take an opportunity within that time that you have to be able to talk to somebody about God. You plan these things. These things do not happen accidentally. It's you who need to plan that. The Lord has given you the time. Good stewards of time you have been given. We have been given the time that we need. Remember, we said there is no one who's given more than the other. We have been given the same time. Let us manage and use our time wisely. Verse 17, he says, rise up and understand the will of the Lord. You ask so many people, what is the will of the Lord in our life? They struggle to tell you what the will of the Lord is. I'm not going to ask you individually here what the will of the Lord is. But it is something that you will find and know if you spend time in His Word. If you still give yourself time to go through this book, you will find the will of God. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 14 to 19, it says, you need to study to make yourself. No one will come and say, okay, approved today when you don't study. See, even in universities, they will accreditate when you have done the work. Let us be diligent students of this word. The Lord has given us everything and the time to read this. The will of God is to use our time to draw others and to baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and Matthew 28 says. It's not something that we need to make for ourselves, but it is something that we need to show our compliance by following and using the time wisely. Making disciples for Jesus, that is the will of God in our life. It is not time to be lost selfishly advancing ourselves. Whilst it is important to advance ourselves, wisdom is knowing that these things are just for a little while. And they will soon perish. And then there is also then a need to know about eternity. Wisdom is making sure that life events are not overshadowing the time we live here. Verse 18. I told you we will zero into those verses. He says, do not be drunk with wine, in which is dissipation, but be filled with the Holy Spirit. Do not be drunk with wine, but be filled. Many will jump into an argument, because I've heard this with my friends, that then, okay, drinking wine is okay. They want to be in that argument. I've been involved in that argument. And I say, okay, fine, let us discuss that. And then let us follow the verses as they are happening there. He says, they will tell you, yes, Jesus even made wine at the wedding in Cana. So what? So what? This is not where this verse is going. The verse is not about drinking wine, but it is about being filled with the. Read the verse again. What is the verse saying?
Be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit.
Yes, the Bible is clear. It's talking about do not be overindulged in activities that do not matter in your life. Do not be preoccupied to forget that we are living in the last days. If we let our pleasures of the world to overshadow our thoughts, then we will lose out on what is called eternal life. Yes, some people are saying maybe Elder Sibanda that now you don't want to address the issue of wine. And I'm saying wine may give you a temporal escape of reality. It gives one a false purpose. But what I know is it incapacitates your judgment and sincerity. Amen. When you are back sober, you will find your problems are more than compounded now. They are bigger than they were to begin with. But a wise man shall always trust and depend on God at all times. They don't need a temporary escape, they need to be real with God. And this is how God will bless us. Where we sincerely come to Him and empty ourselves and say, Lord, this is me. I am in the gutters now. Rescue me. This is me, Lord. I am here on the top of the mountain. Rescue me. This is where the Lord, you will see the Lord in action. But if you still believe you've got other things that are temporal that you can run back and forth to, the Lord, you will stand there and watch and say, play the game. Up until we realize that we need to surrender. And this is why the songwriter says, I surrender all. All to Him. I surrender. The Lord will not manage our situations if we have got other things that we rely on. The Lord needs total reliance on Him and in Him, and then He will take us to even greater heights. Verse 18 is clear. It says, but be filled with Holy Spirit. The emphasis is not the wine, but is being filled with the Spirit. Amen. Are there any English students here? Maybe they can help us understand the word but. What and how is it used in that verse? And I took some time to understand how that but is used. And to me, me, it occurred that it is a conjunction that is used to introduce a contrast. So the contrast is then what matters before what has been introduced. Isn't it how it is, English students? So the emphasis is not drinking wine, but the emphasis in being filled by the Holy Spirit. Let us not spend our time preoccupied in things that will not give us mileage. The days that we live in are evil. The devil is like a rolling lion, seeking whom he may. But why are you making yourself an easy target? Why are you saying, I will neglect the use of the good use of time and expose myself to the devil? He is like a rolling lion. Yes, he will make mincemeat of you because you are taking yourself out of God's protection. Oh, my sisters, let us use our time wisely. Our priorities should be focusing on eternal life, things of eternity, things that matter right through to the end. Building a relationship with God and spending time in His Word. And checking each and every moment how we spend the time. Verse 19. Speaking to one another in psalms and hymns and in spiritual songs, singing and making melody in our hearts. The Lord does not believe we need to waste time around our television. If we have nothing that we think it is productive, let us share in hymns. Let us share in His Word. Share something that is productive. Yeah? And share the Psalms. How beautiful the Psalms are. Strengthen one another when in problems with the Lord's Word. This is what the Lord is expecting as from us as good stewards of time. The Lord says, I have given you all these psalms, so for you to share, the hymns for you to share, spiritual songs to sing, not for you to have the latest of the world's music. Christians here, they will play the world's latest music. And you go to their collection, they have only one that probably they play on the Sabbath. And to say, Lord, I'm using your time. But the Lord is saying, I have given you time. Even to enjoy the psalms, even to enjoy the hymns, even to enjoy the music, the collections that is there, out there. He says, I have made that available for you to enjoy. Yes, the Lord is expecting us to use the time that is given to us wisely. And make sure if you have nothing to say, don't say it. Because some people say things for the sake of winding up time. The winding up time we've gone through this, it's not an option. The Lord wants each moment, each minute, hour, week, a year, well accounted. Can we be pleased by what we have achieved in the last week I've asked? If the answer to that is no, then there is something that is questionable about our stewardship of time. We need to be good stewards of our time. Verse 19, he says, speaking to one another in psalms and hymns and singing a melody into our hearts. And then Acts chapter 16, you know this one. Yeah? Paul and Silas, verse 25. They have embraced the psalm, the speaking to one another about psalms, the singing of hymns and spiritual songs. And where are they? They are in prison, isn't it? But what are they doing? He says at midnight, verse 25, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God. They sing hymns and they are praying, isn't it? And the jail guard is watching them there. But something dramatic happens to the jail guard. At the end, the chains that are bound them are made loose. And the jail guard is saying, today this is the end of my job. These prisoners are all gone today. And what am I going to do? Because how am I going to tell the prison superintendent that I was here and all the prisoners have escaped? The prisoners have escaped. See, there was dilemma to the jail guard. Eh? But the jail guard is also wise. Is he saying at the end of the day, what I am seeing here, I've not seen before. And then he asked them one question. That's one question that he asked. And he said, what is the question? How and what can I do to be saved? The prison superintendent, when he comes, he finds the jail guard a new person. Because he's already given himself to Christ and said, I am now a new creation. I have realized that the God of these people is the God that I will follow. Amen. I have realized that there is no any other God that I need to pay allegiance to, but this therefore. He says, for with this today, when his baptism. If you read the story, him and his family, they were baptized. Yes. Sing hymns and also play spiritual songs. And if you have nothing to do, that on its own will be evangelistic enough. The prisoner was converted through the mighty singing. Amen. The mighty singing converted the prisoner. And the message here is, do not be overcome by the situation that you are in, but overcome that situation that you find yourself in by praising the Lord. Praise the Lord. Paul and Silas did not find that as an opportunity to lament about their jail experience, but they saw it as an opportunity to praise God. To them, time was right. To them, time was not to be missed. To them, time needed to be put in action. Let us make that our purpose. To make great things for the Lord. The Lord says he will make us wise only if we allow him to work in us. And verse 20 to 21, because that's where we were in the interest of time. He says, we need in all situations, we need to give thanks. We need to give thanks in all situations, whether you are in a prison or whether you find yourself in difficult situations, whether they have plotted and you have lost your job. He says, give praise. Amen. That you have walked in and you have told the job is finished, you have no job, and say, praise the Lord. No. Praise the Lord. Because when one door is closed, many more doors open. Amen. So why? This is why why verse 20 says, giving thanks always in all things to God the Father in the name of our Lord Jesus. There is no situation that should bring you down. In all situations, give thanks. Verses then 21, our last verse, submitting to one another in the fear of the Lord. If we submit to one another in the fear of the Lord will then bless us in the way we use our time. Because we are saying, I have purpose to be my brother's keeper. And the Lord will give you time to do. The Lord will say, I have purpose to help out those that need my help. The Lord will help you. This is why he says, for some I will say, I never knew you. Because I was in prison, you never showed up. I was in a care home, you never showed up. I was dying somewhere, you never showed up. But you had the time to watch the latest show. You had the time to watch the movies. You had the time to do what you needed to do, but you didn't have the time to do the work of the Lord. What type of a steward are you? I'm not going to ask yourself to tell me what kind of a steward you are, but I will leave you with that for you to ponder and ask yourself, Lord, what type of a steward am I? Can I be one that has been that could be classed as a good steward, one who manages a time well, or I meet another definition? If you meet another definition, maybe it's a time that you need to be on your knees a bit more. May the Lord continue to bless us as we continue to meditate on the word and see how are we in terms of managing